And now, the international.
Oh, you have done others before?
Yeah, I've just done online ones.
What's the difference between the two?
Oh, we're just like on Zoom, basically, and it's never been like in person before. I'm like looking at you.
Do you feel more
face.
comfortable like that?
I don't know. My business has always been online, so I've never done it anything other than that.
How many podcasts have you done before?
Like 6.
6?
Yeah.
That's more than I did.
Oh, really?
Almost, yeah. Cheers, good having you here.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah. So tell me, I have a very straightforward question.
Okay.
How can I make money? Tell me how to be rich.
Okay, well, first you need to give money to me and invest in my course, and then I'll tell you.
Well, to show me the strategy, somehow you have to give me something.
Yeah, okay.
Don't tell me exactly how to make money, but what is your focus? What is your approach toward that?
Yeah. Well, basically my whole thing of my business is to teach people how to build wealth on their terms. So like whatever that means for them, because wealth to you...
Sorry, I just have to ask you to not cover
whoops.
the microphone.
There you go.
That's a backup.
Yeah.
We do that.
What is wealth to you is different to what's wealth to me, to what's wealth to somebody else. So it's really like defining what is your idea of wealth and what is your ideal lifestyle. And then from there, I kind of help people backtrack how they can create a strategy for that, how they can create a strategy to achieve their dream lifestyle. And it's not necessarily things of like an actual monetary number in the bank account, but more like how they want to feel with money, how they want to live their life. Do they want a slow morning? Do they want to own a business? Like, is their dream lifestyle that they can be a stay-at-home mom and not have to worry about money? So I kind of start there of like, what's your dream lifestyle? Like, what's your idea of wealth? And then in the coaching sessions, I kind of help them with the strategy to get there.
So it's more of helping people define their mindset, not in the sense that we'll come to you and you'll give us a business idea that we develop and make money over there. Yeah,
exactly. Mindset is a big part of it. That's kind of like getting clarity and identifying, what you want out of life. And then, the rest of the part is kind of like the actual strategy and actions that you need to take to get to the goal that you've realized. Yeah.
When do you do this? When are your workshops?
So I do.
How do we find out about them?
Well, on my Instagram at financial.feminist, and I do kind of workshops here and there in Vienna, just kind of like once a month or so. But mainly I have like an in-person group coaching in Vienna that's based here, and that only opens up 2 times a year, and there's only 10 people involved, so it's like a small circle. And then I'm just kind of intaking clients and doing coaching all throughout there as well, so working one-to-one with people privately. And then I have some courses in the back end, so there's like heaps of ways that I guess you can work together based on your support that you want. But that's basically all that I offer. But I really love doing workshops.
How did you get into this?
Well, when I first moved to Vienna, I got a job at an investment firm. And this is kind of where my eyes were opened, so to speak. And this is where I really learned about money and how to make my money work for me. I mean, I was already good with money management, but really all I knew was how to save. And I genuinely didn't ever think about investing. I never thought that investing was something for me. I always thought that investing, you need a lot of money. And I just thought, okay, I'll never understand that. I'll save my way to wealth. And then when I was working at the investment firm, I was really like understanding that when you're saving your money, it's going to decrease in value over time because of inflation, and exactly how it works in the stock market when you put your money to work and how much it can grow. And I learned all of this in the space of like a year and a half. And then kind of as I was learning and working at the investment firm, I just saw this gap here between the financial education gap between men and women. And I just realized that women aren't investing as much as men. Like, I was reading the statistics as well, because we were trying to get more women onto the platform. It was my job to like bring a lot of people to the platform. And so, I realized that a lot of women aren't investing. And I was kind of like, why? We should all know about this. And then I kind of read that women are more likely to be stuck in a paycheck to paycheck cycle than men. So they're not even investing because they're too worried about how they're going to make it to the next paycheck. And so I thought, okay, I really want to start my business to help with that particular statistic so that I can get them out of the paycheck cycle, get them savings, and then maybe they'll feel more comfortable to start investing when they have more disposable income. And then it's just kind of evolved into something bigger.
So you're saying because of these payment gaps in genders, that's why women are unable to invest because they have lower incomes, and then they think they risk the end of making ends meet.
Yeah, I think it's the gender pay gap, but I think it's also just not a lot of access to financial education. I think it's very difficult. I mean, when I was looking up investing, I didn't really see anybody who looks like me or talks like me talking about investments. It was already kind of older men talking about investing in a sense that was a bit difficult to understand for me, or that was a bit outdated advice. And kind of like, oh, if you're still buying a coffee every morning, then that's why you're financially struggling. You should cut out your coffee and then you can invest more. And I thought, that can't be it.
It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, like
€2 per day or even 50 cents when you have your coffee at home.
Exactly.
How that's going to make you money.
Right. So I just feel like that the advice was a bit outdated. And so I think, okay, let me go in there with a fresh new perspective and voice. And you can have a latte every single morning and invest. Like you can have both. You just need to manage your money.
Why do you think they say that? Could it be that they don't want competition in a way? So they make you think that it's all about saving your morning coffee's money?
I think that actually did work a few years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, or maybe even more than that, 10 to 20 years ago. That would save you a lot of money because the inflation wasn't so high. And I think that, okay, that's a solid bit of advice. But I think now when, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't actually make so much of a difference cutting out your coffee. It would make more sense cutting out something
like your Amazon account.
Yeah, basically. Like cutting out toxic impulse spending that actually harms you financially, and then you can keep your latte and keep all the things that you love, but you just cut out the things that you don't love, and that would kind of save you more money. That's kind of like my
mantra.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so you basically would help people define, first of all, what they need and what they want, so then we can get rid of what we don't want and stop spending money on that.
Exactly, like you're identifying your values, like what do you really value, and then identifying what you don't value. And so you only spend money on things that you genuinely value and cut out the rest, so it doesn't feel like you're being frugal. Like I really hate this thing of having to be frugal to save money, or having to like count every penny or track your spending, these kind of things. Like I hate that, and I don't think it really works. And I think it creates this kind of distrust with your money. And for me, I like to go the opposite approach.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too. It's you're never gonna make the real money, but by saying that let's not have that beer tonight.
It's thinking too small.
I mean, exactly. That's thinking too small. It's even if it's €5 per week, €10 or €50 per week, then it's still not that thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna have €200 more by the end of the month. Then what? By the end of the year, you're gonna have €2,400 more, but then you're still not gonna buy that house that you want to buy, right?
And then you're just miserable because you never had your coffee.
Exactly. Then you didn't have your beer, so you saved. You didn't have a drink in a year, and now you have to spend money on therapists.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you for nothing.
Exactly.
But I like the idea of avoiding saving too much, so you can start making money, and that the real money-making scheme, in a sense, could be the investing.
Yeah,
instead
definitely.
of saving only.
Yeah, I think savings are super important to have, but I think with especially women, we tend to save too much, and we shouldn't really be having that much money in savings.
I'm glad you said that, because if I had said that, it would have been too bad. But I think that
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like who I focus on is women who need somebody who looks like me, who talks like me, to kind of spread that kind of financial education that isn't really spoken about, because the financial world and our financial education has really shifted, and a lot of people haven't caught up with it yet. For example, what we're talking about with the coffees and cutting out the beers, they're not really working anymore, but people are still pushing the narrative. And investing now, it actually did take a lot of money to make your first investment before. Like maybe 10 years ago, you did need a significant amount, but now no longer. You can actually start investing with like 25 euros a month with like fractional shares. So the financial world has shifted and things are more accessible now, and financial education is more accessible now. So it's a really exciting time actually to start growing wealth.
Yeah, I think the same. People keep complaining about the horrible times we live in, but I think this is the greatest time humanity has ever lived.
I agree.
Everything is accessible in a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, literally in a second, you can get whatever you want delivered to you at your door. Yeah.
Especially in the last 3 years with generative AI becoming huge, it's so helpful. Yeah. You don't need to wait for tomorrow's newspaper to learn how the market is.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's right now. It's in your hands. It's in your pocket.
Yeah, so much. Exactly. You have so much information in your hands. So it's such an exciting time. But then on the flip side of that, what people struggle with is that you get anything at the click of the button, and that's where the overspending kind of comes from. Sometimes is if you see something on your phone, you can order it and it's at your door tomorrow, or like if you're hungry, you can order something and it's at your door within 30 minutes. Like everything is so accessible, which means you have to be a bit more disciplined and know what your values are. And that's why it's important more than ever to like really understand yourself and financial education as well.
True. When did you move here?
Like 5 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I came to Corinthia first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you didn't understand German accent, so you moved up here.
Well, I was an au pair there, and that's how I came to Austria.
What was it?
An au pair. It's like a live-in nanny.
Okay, so they offer you a place to live and you help them with their kids, or?
Yeah, basically. So you get free rent. They pay for your food as well. They're supposed to basically provide everything for you. And they may give you a little something a month, like maybe like $10 a week or something, or $20 a week on top of that. And then you're basically the live-in nanny and you look after their kid. And so I was doing that for 3 months or so, and then finished with that. And while I was in Corinthia, I was kind of wondering, what should I do next? Maybe I should go back home to Australia. And then I met my now boyfriend, and now I live here.
Okay. But first of all, don't try to save that 10 euro per week.
Yeah.
If you save
just spend that.
In 5,000 years, you're going to have 500 euros. So just forget about it.
Yeah, I was at the pub and I was enjoying my 1 day off.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what you need it for. Just have your 2 beers at the bar.
Yeah. So it was like a full-time nanny position. There's no like hours.
But please leave. Sorry, we got an interruption. And what is life in Australia? What is it like over there?
What is it like?
Yeah.
A lot of spiders, a lot of snakes.
Yeah, I heard that. I was trying not to
make assumptions.
Make assumptions. But then when I hear this news of there's this alligator at the door, or there's this, I don't know, these kangaroos just running around. Is that true, or is it just particular areas? And
I think maybe that is like in the outback area. You can get some crazy stuff there. But where I lived in the suburbs. Like I never got bitten by a snake or a spider or got eaten by a shark or anything. And I don't know anybody who's had that happen to them. So yeah, it's a little bit of, I guess, assumption, but it's still funny because that stuff does actually happen.
What city are you from?
Perth. So it's on the west coast, and then all those ones like Melbourne and Sydney are on the other side.
I heard about it. What's from there?
Just me. Yeah, really like, we're just known for our beautiful beaches and everything that's like supposedly fun and interesting is on the other side. That's where kind of everybody goes, like Melbourne and Sydney. But Perth is, a really beautiful
Is there
place.
Famous actor or actress from there?
Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where I know it from.
Oh, okay.
Because he talked about it once on a podcast or something, or an interview. He mentioned it.
He went to my university.
He did?
Yeah.
Long time before you, right?
Exactly.
I'm assuming so. But it's a small city?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's relatively small. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it takes up a lot of space, of course, because Australia has a lot of space.
What was the moment that you decided you're going to leave Australia? What was it like? Why in the first place?
I always wanted to go. I think in Perth, in Australia in general, you're super isolated from the rest of the world. And so if you want to travel anywhere, like the closest place where all Australians go to is Bali. And that's, about 6 hours by plane.
To leave or for vacation?
Oh, just like for a vacation, like that's the closest place to Perth. So you're quite isolated and you don't really get to travel. Like if you live in Austria, you can just go 2 hours that way and you're in Budapest and you could see something really new and exciting. But so I always kind of had this thing of like, I really want to experience something. I really want to see a different culture. And so I thought after I graduated, I thought, okay, I'm going to do a gap year. I'm just going to do a year and I'm going to go to Europe. And I started in Ireland. I'm just going to start at the top there and just see what happens and just kind of do a working holiday. And now I'm just still here. I haven't gone back. And
you just worked here right after what was the term for au pair?
Au pair.
Au pair.
Yeah.
What did you do? That's when you started to work in that firm, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I worked, with the kids, and then I moved with my boyfriend that I met to Vienna. And then I was looking for jobs, and because I'm a writer, I was looking for writing jobs. So I wanted to become like the editor of a magazine or something.
Good luck without German skills.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I started international.
Okay,
I couldn't find a job myself, so all right, I'm going to start.
You just create one yourself. Yeah. So then I found this editor's role at this magazine for the investment firm. And when they hired me, I said, look, I don't have any idea about investments or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or anything, but I can write for you and I'll learn. And they were like, yeah, no problem. Come get in here. And so that's when I started working there.
What is life like with, is your boyfriend into financing and strategies as well? Or you keep fighting about savings all the time?
No, we're kind of like really on the same page because while I was working there, he was also working in finance. So we were kind of like on the same page. But I remember we would really talk about investing and cryptocurrencies, and it's really fun to have someone to like bounce the ideas off as well. So
what could be a topic someone can invest in these years or this decade? It could be real estate, military, or whatever. What could be a topic that we can focus on? What's the future?
Ooh, what's the future? I mean, I'm pretty interested. I think that, not to sound like a crypto bro, but I think that cryptocurrency really could be something interesting in the future. And when I was working at the firm, they were really at first focused on cryptocurrencies. And I think it's interesting that this is kind of seen as it's way too risky and it seems like a scam to a lot of people. So a lot of people are a bit more conservative, I would say, especially in Austria.
Because they don't see the cash.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't see the cash, it's not there. Money's not there.
Yeah. So I think there's a bit of, they're a bit conservative around that. So people don't even want to look into it and actually see how it could be just a small part of your portfolio. I think it's silly to kind of write it off and be like, oh yeah, that's a scam. It's technology. Like technology is never going to, it's only going to progress. It's never going to go backwards. We're only ever going to go forwards. And we've seen with AI how fast technology is now just becoming more intelligent. So we should really jump on that train, and because everybody always said, oh, I wish in 2010 that I bought Bitcoin, I'd be rich by now. But now the same thing's happening now.
Exactly.
And people are like, oh, no, it's too risky. But then
let's see what happens first.
Let's see what happens
first.
When
you see what happens, then it's gone.
Yeah,
it's too late.
Exactly. So I think that that's actually something that I don't talk about in my business because I don't want to scare people away. So I talk about the more safer investments and this kind of education. But I think cryptocurrency is a really interesting topic, and we should be a bit more open-minded when we're thinking about it. Yeah,
definitely. I think the only thing one of the things that might keep people away from it is that it's not like a classic investment that you buy shares in a company, but with crypto you have to keep an eye on them all the time.
Yeah,
and people think of investment as a passive thing rather than as an active thing. So they have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then they say, I'm done with working today. I don't want to work again after work. That's why I'm investing the money that I saved so someone else can do the work for me. And that's something that might keep people away from cryptocurrencies, because you have to be there. You have to withdraw them when something happens, and you have to put them back, invest again, and change and switch and whatever. Because it went well during the lockdown.
Yeah,
I think it was crazy. Then everyone, I also invested during the lockdown because it was the lockdown. Why not?
We're bored.
And it was nice doing it, and it was much easier. And with Elon Musk posting about Dogecoin all the time, and I don't know what happened with Dogecoin by now.
No, I don't know what happened either. It's still there. It's still going.
Going up still?
It's just existing. But do you remember when there was this Luna coin that completely crashed? And I think this is also the thing that scares people as well, is that they see that in the news. There was this thing during COVID, I think it's called Luna coin, and there were so many people who had invested in it, and then literally from one day to the next, it was down to zero and everybody lost their money. And then because of that, people were pulling out their investments in the crypto markets as well. And then it just made everything go down. And that's the thing I think of cryptocurrency, is people have their emotions in it a lot. And because a lot of people don't have a strategy and they don't really know what they're doing, they're just kind of doing it based on vibes, and they're like, oh, what is everyone else doing? Okay, I'm going to take it out now. Oh, I'm scared to lose my money. And
something that I don't necessarily disagree with is the similarity with the Ponzi scheme. Though I don't want to scare any of your. As I said, I'm one of those people that I invested in crypto. And I would like to do that if I had just a little bit more time. But that's exactly the difference. Is yes, there might be schemes or cryptos that will just shut down the next day as soon as they get their first money. But that's what you as an investor should do, and that's exactly what you said. You need a strategy. You need to study them. You need to study what's been there for a while and where is it coming from, where is produced, or who's behind it. You cannot just put your money anywhere. Yes, you're going to be disappointed if you do that. But you should take some time to study it and build a strategy on how you're going to do it. You want to make money, you're going to put some effort on it. It's not It's not magic. What do you expect? People just going to give you money for free like that?
It's not that easy. And I think a lot of people are just looking for ways to get money fast and get rich quick, basically. And then these are the kind of people who fall for these things because they're thinking, okay, I can get rich quick with these things, but there is no such thing as that. You can't do that. You can't get rich quick. There's only one way, and it's to...
And it's illegal.
And it's illegal, and you're going to screw yourself over. So, but that's a lesson that some people need to learn, I think. But yeah, like you said, it really, you need to research it, just like you wouldn't have your cash and then just hand it to someone else and just hope that they did well with it. Like you would think about it, get background information, like you should treat crypto the same.
Where is it coming from? What's going to happen with my money? What's their investment strategy with our money or whatever? Where is this going? What's the credibility of this cryptocurrency that I'm investing in? People would prefer spending a lot of time on Instagram and not research this thing, and then be angry at the coin that is dropping right now. Yes, because you wasted 2 hours. Check your phone. Check how much time you spend per day on your social media. Just if you put half of that on studying the coin you want to invest on, I'm sure you're going to be much better.
It requires time and effort.
I mean, it's an investment. It's not a job. You're not going to do the work, but you have to study what other people are going to do.
It's time
with your
investment
money.
as well as a
time investment. And that's what people don't get. And that's one factor, I believe. And I'm not taking your job here, just sharing my thoughts. And the other is that some countries and some generations, as I said, still believe that when they buy cryptocurrency, then the money is lost because they don't see it. It's not, they don't sign. When you put your money in your bank, you don't see your money anymore, but there is a person behind the counter and you sign a physical paper when you give them the money. Well, when you put them online cryptocurrency account, it seems like it vanishes, which it doesn't, but that's what they think it does.
Yeah.
That's the difficult part. And also the crawling ones, the ones that fail, I like conspiracy theory, but I'm still going to share this. I think banks have something to do with those kind of news anyway.
Oh my God, tell me.
No, that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. I mean, what are the institutions or who are the people that would benefit less from cryptocurrency? Banks, obviously. So why wouldn't they spread word about how bad it is?
I have the exact same conspiracy.
But it makes sense.
It makes total sense. Yeah, I've always thought that, and I've thought that that's why they're kind of doing this slander campaign against cryptocurrency and have this mentality of like, oh no, it's too risky, you're an idiot if you invest in that. But I mean, they are seeing that people can invest a lump sum in cryptocurrency, the next day they're rich because who knows what the market's going to do, it just shoots up for no reason. They cash out their investments and the bank is like, oh, how can we get our finger in this? Like, and that's why now they've implemented like the taxes on your profits and like all these kind of barriers that investment firms have to jump through in order to even have a crypto firm in Austria. It's quite strict. There's a lot of regulations.
I was going to ask that. What happens with these kind of investments in Austria when you don't start a company to invest and to make profits, but then you're also not, do you have to be self-employed?
Yeah.
To do that crypto investment, right?
What do you mean, like?
So let's say tomorrow I'll put 100 euros on this currency. And the money that I saved on coffee in the past 100 days or 50 days. And then I'm in 2 weeks that 100 euro is now 1,000 and I want to withdraw it. Or it's 10,000 and I want to withdraw it, more considerable.
Yeah.
What should I do with the money? Do I withdraw it easily in my bank or how do I pay the taxes for it?
Yeah, you'd have to declare your profits, but now there are some platforms in Austria that they withhold the taxes already, and so
you just take the profit.
You just take the profit and they withhold the taxes and they make sure that the taxes are paid.
Okay.
Because then they're going to get in trouble if taxes aren't paid, I'm guessing, because they have regulations. So a lot of platforms now in Austria do it for you, and they just withhold it whether you want them to withhold it or not. And then other times you have to, like come tax time, you have to declare your profits and then pay it back, which is crazy because it's taxed income already that you're investing with, like from your job.
Yeah.
And then it's being taxed again.
It's double taxed.
Yeah, it's
somehow.
double taxed.
True.
But that's not
it's it's the money from your netto salary.
Yeah, exactly.
And then basically they tax your netto salary somehow.
Yeah, again.
It's difficult to make money in Austria.
Yeah.
Is it easier in the US?
I don't know if it's easy in the US, but I feel
Australia?
like in Australia the taxation is a lot more fair, I would say. Like it's I think everyone knows it's quite high in Austria.
Very high.
Yeah. So
they're killing us.
Yes, killing us. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, so just have that morning coffee and be happy with it because the government will take it from you anyway. So
exactly.
There is no solution here. Just try to invest as much as you can.
Yeah.
This is the only thing you do now? The workshops and...
Yeah, this is basically the business. I'm doing workshops for other companies as well. They, like for example, Women's Day is coming up, so they want me to come in and do like an investing 101 workshop for the women in the company. So I'll be doing that.
You also did a workshop with Niva, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, amazing. I really love doing workshops with them. They're so professional as a company. They're so great. They do everything, handle everything so professionally at the door. When the girls come in, they take their coats, they have like the wristband and everything. It's so good for me as a person who's hosting the workshop that I don't have to do that and then host as well. So yeah, I love working with them, and they have such a beautiful community in Vienna of women who are like really action takers and really want to learn. And yeah, it's such a lovely community they created. I'm really happy to be a part of it.
We're also good friends with them.
Yeah?
Yeah. But you mentioned writing. What do you write? Besides what you used to write for a living and that financial
before that, I had my first business, which was in Perth, and I was doing I had my own publication. I was doing articles on the best things to see, do, and eat and drink in my hometown in Perth, and I would basically go to the events and then write an article about it and post it, and that would be what I'm doing. And then I also did freelance work, so people would hire me to write for their blogs, or I was a BuzzFeed writer as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I did these quizzes, I created these quizzes that was like, what kind of McDonald's breakfast are you? Take the quiz and find out. And
they were wild at some point on Facebook.
Yeah. They were crazy. And like these quizzes.
Find out how you're gonna die.
Yeah.
No,
really morbid. Or it just be something dumb, like it's Halloween, it's like, what kind of pumpkin are you? And people get really mad
in the comments. Are there different types of pumpkins in the first place?
Yeah, and people get really mad, like in the comments, if they don't get the type of pumpkin that they wanted for themselves. They're like, this quiz is ridiculous, I'm definitely not this kind of pumpkin, I'm this kind of pumpkin, this quiz is stupid. And I'm like,
I've invested 10 years of my life to be that kind of pumpkin, and now you tell me I'm not that kind of pumpkin? This quiz is bullshit.
Yeah, actually, they get so mad about it, especially the McDonald's, like what McDonald's breakfast are you? Everybody wanted to be a hash brown, but I guess, I don't know, there was only like 1% of people who was really a hash brown. I guess I set it up that way accidentally. So people were mad that they were the pancakes instead of the hash brown. Yeah.
It's funny when, how human brain worked when people ask you something, for example, tell them what you think about me. And then you are honest with them. They push you to be honest with them.
Yeah.
And then they get mad at you because you were honest. Well, if you didn't want me to be honest, just tell me what you want to hear.
Yeah, and I'll
give you that.
Yeah.
I'll make you happy because I don't care. I mean, as long as it makes you happy, hearing what you want to hear or hearing who you think you are as a person or in that particular situation you're asking me about. Sure, I'll give you that, but don't be mad at me if you ask me something and then I don't give you that. Just like the pumpkin. Why you came to the quiz? You want to be that kind of breakfast?
A hash brown.
A hash brown? Don't come here.
Yeah.
Just go to McDonald's and eat your fucking favorite breakfast. Don't come to me. It's a Facebook quiz. It's here to make
they're
clicks.
like attacking me.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Those people. Yeah. But do you have something you wish you could be paid to write or make a living out of it?
I think I've left my writing days behind me, actually, because I went to university for creative writing, and I thought, okay, this is my path. I'm going to be the next J.K. Rowling. Like, I'm going to write this amazing fictional novel, and everyone's going to know my name. Like, this is really what I thought. And so I was like, oh, just write articles in the meantime. And then this somehow kind of diverted me to the finances and starting this business to spread financial education. So now, I'm writing newsletters and stuff for my business and everything, but now this fulfills me so much that I don't feel like, I need to really find a writing publication anymore. But it's crazy because that was such a big dream of mine for so long, and it got completely diverted into something else.
But do you think that the dream is gone, or it's just that you feel comfortable doing also this other thing and you don't need to write anymore, or you're just too busy?
I think I'm too busy because I think that it was such a passion for me, like writing stories and creating these little characters and like being creative in that way. I think that now with my business, I don't have any kind of liberty to be creative anymore, so it just kind of gets pushed to the back. Like, it's not really a priority. I need to make a business strategy, and I need to know what I'm posting on these days and getting clients and working with clients. It's all kind of more strategy based rather than creative. So I think, it's not that the passion went away. I think it's just more I'm focused on something else now. But I hope I come back to it, actually. That's a good question.
Well, the way you say it, it looks like it evolved rather than disappeared, because you write your newsletter, you write every
like captions
day
and things,
on Instagram and social media, so you just adapt it to reality and to what it now means to write. It doesn't necessarily means only to write books. People are writing other things, like the things that you're doing. Also, maybe you can consider writing a book about financial strategies or money-making strategies and stuff like this. Yeah,
I got approached already from a couple of publications that were like, "Oh, we want you to write a book and then we'll sell it." But I think they turned out to be like a little bit weird. There's a lot of scams for like business owners. They pretend that they're like, "Oh, do you want to be on Forbes?" And
what?
Yeah, they're like, "We want to invite you. We want to write an article about you. Let's get on a call together." And then you get on a call with them. And they're like, "Yeah, it's just going to cost $10,000 to get on the call." And you're like, "Oh, damn it!
Yes.
I thought you were inviting
I fall for this again.
Yeah,
every time."
Yeah, exactly. But there's not that much money in writing books as well. So actually, it's probably a good thing that it's evolved. But I remember thinking, there's not much money in this while I was doing it.
It's. I mean, in this kind of book, I think there is still money. People like being told how to do something.
Yeah, self-help books and stuff.
Self-help books. So I see writers selling a lot of books like this. Probably there's not a lot of money if you write a novel. A good novel.
Yeah.
Heartfelt, good story, but it will make you feel good if you have that story that you want to tell.
Yeah.
But maybe it could be the other thing, if you're thinking about it, like, I'll make some money with this, and then when I'm 50, I'll just get my house, I'll go back to Perth, and it's by the sea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just maybe go back there for a year, write your novel, your stories as J.K. Rowling. But just don't drop it completely. It's a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, good point.
And with imagine if it disappears at all, because I mean, all writers gonna die soon eventually. So who's gonna write?
That's true, and I hope it's something that's not being taken over by AI. I think that's what people are saying as well, is that, oh, AI is going to take creative jobs and things, and that's like a concern for some people. But I actually think we're still a way off from that. AI doesn't look that good.
First that, but also second, what I believe is that if someone writes a book with AI, then his audience doesn't read at all.
Right.
Because people who like to read, first of all, we can distinguish immediately when it's human written. Second, and most importantly, we don't have to read. We want to read, and we will appreciate human-made art because we choose to do that. We don't need to go to a museum to see a painting. We want to, and unless we find what we've used to see. It's like with the movies, they say, they're going to replace the actors. I don't think it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It will never going to happen. We want to see them act. And most importantly, we want to have a goal and save money.
Yeah.
So then we go to a festival and see them in person.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the 90 minutes on the screen. It's about following them on social media after, see what they do in their personal life, and admire their lifestyle, though that we think that it's perfect.
Yeah.
So it's all about their life overall, and it's not just about those 90 minutes on the screen. That's why AI will never take over more. Maybe some CGI or special effects, yes, but not the actors and the filming.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's so nice. I've never heard it.
I'll split this video and send it to you.
I've never had it explained that way. That's so beautiful, and that's so true, actually. We crave human connection now more than ever in this fast-paced world. And you're right, once you read something, like, it's the same, I don't know if you've noticed, but on social media, when people write captions with AI, you can just tell, like on LinkedIn or whatever, you can just tell. So yeah, I think we're probably going to become more aware of the science as well.
I saw a friend of mine, he posted something on LinkedIn 3 days ago. It was one of those things, don't do these 3 things when doing this thing.
Yeah.
It was obvious it was AI written. First of all, because I know the guy and I know how good his English is. And that's what I told you. You want to use AI, fine. Yeah. But just make sure that you really use those words in real life. You don't talk to people like
you. Yeah.
Just switch the words, find synonyms and use the more commonly used words.
Yeah.
than that. And second, again, you don't have to write that post. You either have something to say it with your own words, or correct your grammar a little bit with AI or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's very obvious. And what's happening, well, when talking to this friend is, now, because we have seen, and we all use generative AI as an assistant, we now know how they write.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when they're good at writing, we now as humans have to avoid writing like them, because what they write has become so popular that everyone knows that it's AI. And this friend of mine was saying about a paragraph, yeah, but I wrote that, yeah, but now it sounds AI written, so you have to think of something else. It's gone. Now AI took that part. Now it's very popular thanks to them.
So do you think that it's going to like disrupt jobs in that way?
No. I don't think it's going to take. I think it's going to make jobs better. I don't think it's taking any jobs.
I think so too. I don't take this negative approach either. I think it's going to be better. And if there is a job that is being totally replaced by AI, I think AI is going to create new jobs as well as take them away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So who's going to operate AI?
Yeah, exactly.
People that are driving the car, let's say.
Yeah.
And they say they're going to be automated cars, but there has to be someone doing it.
Yeah.
Because people have personal cars. It's not going to be one person managing 100 cars.
It's a good time to get into like getting technical skills set as well.
Definitely. I only feel sorry about older generations that cannot catch up fast of what's happening, and I'm sure they feel so excluded with all what's happening.
What, you mean like older people? Or, yeah, I think so too, but I think that a lot of older people, they have phones. they can like be up to date with things. They can still, I think like this is a bit quick. It is a bit fast moving, but I think that if you made an effort to stay updated, then if that's important to you to feel included, then I think it could happen. But yeah, at the same time, all the people who are like, they see how fast AI is going and they're kind of trying to tap out and be like, okay, well, no, I don't like this and it's going to be taking jobs and I'm not going to, like, they try not to learn about it and they don't want to know about it because I guess they're afraid of it or it's just too much change too fast. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get more progressed. And the longer you stay out of it, the more excluded from society you are, because we're all going to move with technology. There's no choice. We have to. We all have to evolve.
Yeah. The only thing I feel sorry about them is that I hear them saying, oh, now it's too late for me to start learning these things. And they are like 65. Come on, man. You got so many more decades to live and nothing else to do. Just start, you're just retired.
Yeah.
What you're going to do with your time? Just get into it and start learning. I mean, maybe you're not going to generate videos or write complex prompts, but you can use ChatGPT and talk to them. Yeah,
and I feel like this is the same for when I hear people say, oh, I'm too old to learn about investing now. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're not too old. You're, like, any time in the market is still a plus for you.
Yeah.
Like, anything that you learn can be really, really empowering for you. I think some people just have low confidence and they just need someone to give them that push.
I mean, sometimes they also have, I believe that older people could even be better at something because they have life experience and the only thing they have to learn is the tools.
Exactly.
While we, younger generation, we have to learn the tools and still get life experience.
Yeah, and the patience and the wisdom that they already have, Yeah.
Today I heard, you remind me of wisdom, I heard a quote today and it was funny, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but it said that knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. And wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. Oh, nice. That was super cool.
Did that blow your mind?
Yeah. Did you hear it before?
No, I've never heard that before.
Cool. I told this one 10 times a day. Just because I went to people, did you know that? You know, when you learn something.
You just have to spread the knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to take that though, and I'm going to be telling people. I'm going to tell people I made up.
Yes, it's going to take a few days until the podcast is up. So you have a few days to let everyone know about the quote and share it with everyone else. But yeah, amazing times. Remember when we were kids and there was this vision of flying cars that now is also a meme on the internet. In the future we're going to have flying cars.
In 2030.
Yeah, no one is even trying to
yeah, no one's doing that.
Yeah, it's the same thing with AI. People have been talking, it's going to take our jobs, it's going to do... No, it's not. It's not going to do that.
Not now anyway, it's going to be decades and decades.
Yes. I mean, where are the flying cars? It's just people love driving and not everyone's going to take a pilot's license to fly a car.
Yeah.
It's already hard to take a driver's license for regular cars, especially in Austria.
Do you have your driver's license?
I do. I had to convert it.
Okay.
From my Albanian one. I drove for a long time before converting it, but for Albanians we had to still take the practical exam for it, and I failed the first time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What did you do?
There was a road, so it was funny, but he was right. So the inspector sitting behind me, he said, when we started, he said, you only had straight ahead, sorry, not right, you only had straight ahead until I tell you to turn. So for you, it's only going straight ahead.
Yeah.
So I did, and then there was a road that was straight ahead and left, and I went straight ahead. And then he said, just pull over because you shouldn't have gone there. And there were like 4 signs. And one of them said that it's only school area and resident area. So you only go there when you have to pick up your kid or if you leave there. Oh. And I didn't see that sign. There were 4 signs at the same time there. And I asked him, can I try again? And he said, sure, next time. It was even funny. So, but second time I was a bit more concentrated.
Yeah, okay, good. You could have just said you're picking up your kids.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a driver's license here?
Yeah, I've got now an international driver's license so I can drive here, but it was weird going from Australia to here because
everything is on side,
yeah,
right?
Everything's on the opposite side for me, and even the wheel is on the other side of the car, and all the gear sticks are all on different sides. So it took a while for me to understand how to, like, on a roundabout, which way are we going?
That's super confusing.
Yeah.
Even as a pedestrian.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it confusing for you as a pedestrian as well when you first moved here?
Yeah, I'm always looking the wrong way when I'm crossing the road. I should be looking that way when I should be looking that way, so...
Did you ever risk any accident or something?
No, thankfully, there's always someone holding me back from the curb.
No, this way, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
But with one, you can, for how long you can drive with the international one?
As long as your Australian driver's license is valid.
So you don't need to convert it?
No.
That's
no, you
cool.
don't have to.
Do you go back, have you been back often in these 5 years?
Yeah, I went back already 3 times. I went back during the pandemic, actually, because I was kind of seeing, like this lockdown thing is actually... Real. Yeah, you know how it was starting to get like kind of panicky for everybody. And then in Australia, in Perth, it was like everything was normal because they're so isolated. So they would have like 2-week lockdowns maybe, and then everyone would just be out and about, no mask, living their life. And I'm like, I'm going to go over there. Yeah. And so I went there and I had to do like a 2-week quarantine in a hotel and pay for that. It was like $3,500 to pay in this 2 weeks in this hotel, so I could And
what did you do those 2 weeks?
Started my business.
That's how you started?
My business in the quarantine.
You should have told me first. Tell me about it.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about this part. Actually, maybe I trauma blocked it.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Actually, I totally forgot about that because I was already thinking about. Okay, so when I left the job, it was already pandemic time, so they were like laying off people anyway, and then I worked with a career coach immediately afterwards because I was like, I have no idea what I want to do.
Korean coach?
A career coach, yeah.
Or a career coach?
Yeah.
Was Korean the coach? Or?
No, career.
A career coach, okay. I thought you said a Korean
coach. No, a career coach. And she was trying to help me figure out what I want to do with my life, basically, because I was like, what should I do now? Like, you know, I'm in my 20s, I should know what I want to do with my life. And then this is how we kind of conceptualized the idea. She's like, this seems to be something you're passionate about, of financial education with women. And we were kind of thinking about names. And she was like, what about something with like a feminist financial or financial feminist? And that just kind of clicked. And I thought, ooh, and I was thinking about it the whole time. And yeah, I went to Australia and I spent 2 weeks in quarantine just with myself in this little room. We weren't even allowed to open a window in quarantine. It was like you're stuck in a room and you can't open a window and you can't open the door unless they drop like food at your door and you have to like open it, bring it in and close it right away. It was really intense. And then during this time, I was like, okay, I'm going to start my business. And I started my Instagram page. I started posting as my business. And then within like a couple of weeks, I went from 700 followers to like 3,000 followers.
What?
Like, within a couple of weeks. Yeah. Like one of my reels went viral and that I created in quarantine.
What was it about?
It was like something silly that was like, when you're learning about financial education, it was like kind of like, POV, when you're learning about financial education, and then it was like what old men tell you, and it was like, just cut out your coffees and yeah. I mean, that's like a common theme in my business. Cut out your coffees. Just don't be poor. Like, wealth is a mindset. Like, these kind of things that you usually read. And so many people resonated with that. And they were like, I guess, kind of looking for something fresh. And they were like, yes, tell us. What do you have to say, basically? And then that kind of kickstarted my business, like during the pandemic when I was in quarantine.
Yeah.
It was a really good focus time.
Yeah, definitely. But don't open the windows.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, those were crazy times, and now we still don't know what was all that for.
People don't care now.
What happened?
People don't care. They're just like, if you have COVID, you can still go to work, just wear a mask. But before it was like, remember the people in hazmat suits that would come to your apartment? And
my God.
What a crazy time. Like, when we look back on that, sometimes we're like, what the hell was that?
How are we going to explain it to our kids?
Yeah, how are we going to explain that to anyone? Yeah, it was really silly.
We still don't really know where it came from and what caused it, and
no, we've all just moved on.
How did it disappear, and how did we move on?
Yeah, how did we move on? That's because today I was reminded of it. I put on a jacket that I hadn't worn in ages, and I put my hands in my pocket, and a mask came out, and I was like, oh. I was reminiscing. I was like, remember when we had to wear these everywhere?
I mean, it had a big effect. Media had a big effect on it, because as soon as media, you remember they were doing the numbers every day. Today, death toll, and how many people were sick with COVID.
It's like panic.
And as soon as they stopped doing this, COVID was over.
Yeah.
That's when we didn't care anymore.
Yeah. After a while, it was like the economy is going to completely crash if people don't go back to work. So it was kind of like, if you're sick, you still have to go, because it was already a year or two afterwards, and people kind of didn't care anymore.
I mean, I still think that the economy is just starting now to feel the consequences and the effect of the COVID. Because people say, it didn't last that long, everything recovered, but it was just businesses digesting their grease until it's over, especially hospitality, tourism.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Whole countries also suffered. The countries that depend on tourism as well. Like,
I remember last year I went to Cuba to visit, and they were completely devastated by COVID, because tourism is the only thing they had. And even though the pandemic was long gone by 2023, which was actually now not last year, but they were still suffering a lot, and like them, many other countries around, because it's hard to put everything in place, and it's like you mentioned, most of countries like that just barely make their ends meet, and if you miss 1 month, it's over. You're never gonna recover. You start gonna put yourself into debts, and you will never be able to pay, because it's hard to save money and pay your debts. And then it's also about some countries are maybe because they have suffered before, their mindset about investing is different. Yeah. For example, going back to my country, people a bit older than I am would never invest most of the people would not invest money at all,
right?
Because there was a Ponzi scheme that happened in 1997 where people lost millions with banks and these agencies. They said, it was a classical pyramid scheme,
right?
So you cannot talk to them about investing money anymore. They just keep saving and saving, and money keeps being devaluated, of course, because of inflation. So based on this, some countries suffered even more after COVID.
Yeah.
And we don't know why. We don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's going to take ages for us to really actually see the effects of it as well. And so many businesses went out of business, which was really devastating to watch. Like back home when I was watching all these businesses being like, okay, we have to close now because with so many lockdowns, our family restaurant is closing, and it wasn't their choice. It was like, it really sucked. Or like the movie theater that I used to go to as a kid completely shut down. And I was like, no. So yeah, I think now we're just seeing, maybe even a decade later, the really effects of it. But it's going to be interesting. I think people in the future are going to study this whole time period.
Do you think so?
And like the financial impacts.
We never studied the Spanish flu.
You didn't?
Not really. We just, it was mentioned, but there wasn't really a study on that like we expect to be on COVID.
But I think there's probably more like accessible education and records from today rather than Spanish flu, maybe.
Could be. I still think people have the tendency to forget.
Yeah.
Remember,
thankfully,
every year, January and February are the months that everyone gets sick. There's a virus and there's a flu. Every year, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And then also every year, people are surprised. They're like, there's some kind of virus going on. And why is everyone sick? It's every year the same question.
That's for me. That's what I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's really me.
But it happens all the time.
Why am I sick? Yeah, exactly.
We tend to forget that it happens every year. We forgot about the lockdown. We will forget about the wars. Wars that are happened before, and we forget about them. And every time they happen, we think it's new, but it's not.
It's human nature to, I guess, repeat history. Yeah.
So that's why I think that maybe they will not elaborate much on this in history books in the future, if there will be books.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's curious. Or maybe they will just open some documents in 50 years. They will say that everything was just messed up on purpose or whatever. How they do it nowadays, they open the Vietnam documents of war or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, they're probably waiting that some people who are maybe not responsible but involved in it are still alive, so they wait for them to die.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, I told you I'm so much into conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I can tell that.
And it also makes sense, so they wait for them to die.
You need a separate podcast for conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I think I'd get banned or something from these social media now. That they start reporting you for saying, it's internet, that's why you were here, because it's decentralized, everyone can see whatever they want.
Yeah.
You cannot censor internet that much.
I mean, they can now. They've censored it a lot, I think.
Yeah. I mean, but didn't Zuckerberg say that they're gonna reduce it? They fact checking or something?
Yeah, I guess, but...
Did you ever have any issues with this?
No, there are certain things that are blocked, like some words that are blocked on Instagram. And I know that whenever I post about investing and I use like the hashtags or investing or cryptocurrency, that they don't perform as well, or they don't show up on people's feeds. And I think there's one too many money coaches or people doing what I'm doing, but they're actually scamming people. And so maybe they're keeping a bit of a lockdown on that, because there was a rise of financial influencers in COVID. So a lot of people were doing what I was doing, and some of them were doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing. So there's a bit of a distrust, I think, in my field at the moment. So
what is the thing with this rule that you cannot tell people how to invest or where to invest their money? What's with it? It has never been clear to me. So if I tell you that I have this €1,000 I want to invest, you're not supposed to tell me, go put it there.
Yeah, I can't do that. Or I could basically go to jail, because you have to be a financial advisor, like a registered financial advisor, and you have to study and get the degree for you to be able to tell people what to do with their money. Otherwise, as a money coach, if I could have a pretty good idea and think, okay, I think you should do it in these areas, and then they go do that and for some reason they lose their money, then they could turn around to me and say, oh, you told me to invest and I just lost everything. And then, now I'm in trouble. I could get sued, or I could even maybe go to prison. So that's why, people are always really strict on that. Even in my workshops, I always say, don't ask me for any financial advice at the end. And the thing is also, when people ask me, oh, what should I invest in? I have this much money, what should I invest in? I don't know. I actually don't know, because it takes a little bit more for me to understand, what are your goals? What is your risk tolerance? How much do you have debt? This also will tell me how much you should be investing. And do you have dependents? Do you have kids? All these things have to be taken into consideration. So when you just ask, people just slide into my DMs and just ask me, how much should I invest and where? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea. And you should not take advice from me, actually, because I don't know anything about your situation. So instead, you should invest in your financial education. And so you never have to ask anyone again. You can know for yourself. And then you don't have to ask, or you don't have to pay someone to tell you. You can just know.
Yeah. Also, people should have a clear goal of what they're trying to get out of their investment, and maybe even a clear number.
Yeah,
because they say, oh, I want to make money. But how much? Because money cannot be the only goal. What do you want to do with the money?
The money is never the goal. The money is the means to your goal.
Exactly.
So if I gave you $1 million in your bank account and said, that's yours forever, but you can't spend it, and you can't spend it on bills or anything, it would then lose all its value. It's useless.
Yeah.
So actually, that's why we start with clarity on your lifestyle. What actual lifestyle do you want to lead? And your lifestyle, your dream lifestyle, will tell you what your goals are. And then if its goals is a comfortable retirement, to be a stay-at-home mom, or to be a business owner, then that's what you can start with. Yeah.
That's how you make the numbers. You want a house? Sure. What kind of house? 3 floors? Yeah, 1.5 million. Here's a number. Then you want 2 cars, then you want a beach house, and then you come up with a 5 million, and that's the number.
Yeah.
You cannot just expect that you want to make an infinite amount of money for nothing.
I wish.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good strategy to help people define first what they need so they can understand. Do they have trouble understanding that money is the mean and not the goal?
Well, there's really such a lack of financial education that it seems obvious when you say it like that. It seems obvious when you know, but when you don't know what you don't know. When I also, if someone would have told me that when I was 19, I would be like, oh, true. I think that there's such a lack of financial education, just in general, that these investment topics are usually explained in a difficult way when it's really not that difficult. It's actually not rocket science. It's just explained by others in a way that isn't easy to understand. And when you're talking about a topic, you should be able to talk about it in a way that's easy to understand for everybody. And I think you have to learn financial education and how to handle your own money as an adult when you're already working, because we don't get taught anything in school. And unless your parents are wealthy, then they also don't tell you anything on not even budgeting or how to invest or anything. So you have to learn it for the first time as an adult, and it's very confusing. And you don't know where to start, and you also don't know who to trust as well. It can be hard to know where you should allocate your money into different courses or things, because you don't know who you can trust as well. So I think it's just the lack of financial education is the first step.
Do you think it's on purpose that they tend to keep it complicated the way they explain these things, so they can be the only one to be able to explain it? Yeah,
I think if we're getting into conspiracies, I think the government wants to keep the working class. And I don't think that they want people to escape their social class, because then who's going to be the workers? Who's going to work? This. Right?
I'm going to use this theory in my next podcast.
Good. This is really what I think, because it can't be a coincidence. Finances is such a huge part of everybody's lives. Every single person has to have a relationship with money. but it's not taught in schools as an elective, or it's not taught in universities, or like unless you're choosing to become a financial advisor. Why do we not have basic budgeting skills, or like how to save or how to invest in school, so that when we become fully functioning adults in the workforce, we at least have an idea that we can build upon? But there's absolutely nothing. So people go into the world only knowing to save because that's what their parents taught them, and that's what their parents taught them. So I think it's like this system designed to keep people in the working class and not escape their circumstances, basically.
True, because if I start making money thanks to my investments, then I'm going to quit my job.
Yeah, they don't want that.
If everyone does that, then who's going to work?
Who's going to work? Yeah.
True. That's one more reason for them to hate cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly how I feel about crypto, is that people can get rich quick, and there's no strategy to it. Sometimes it's really just luck, but that's exactly the opposite of what governments want, is that people get rich quick and they don't have to work anymore, and then they teach other people how to do it and bragging about it and selling a course about it. We've got to shut that down.
Did you ever have any problem with this kind of people approaching you? Hey, we don't like what you're doing here.
No, not
people
yet.
In black coats.
Maybe I'm not big enough yet. I don't. If I disappear tomorrow, then you know what happened to me.
Okay. No problem at all.
No, I don't think any problem, because I try to be really careful about my disclaimers as well of what I can and can't do, and that, I give personalized financial education, not personalized financial advice. So that distinction is kind of...
Did you ever have angry customers?
Never. I've never had an angry customer before, because we work together so closely, and I really make sure that they're a good fit before we work together. Like, I don't let anybody just pay and then they can work with me. They have to go through like an application process, and then I see if I can help them. And if I genuinely think, okay, I can't help you, I'll refer them to someone else. Like, I won't, let them pay me if I think I can't help them. But with our coaching programs and stuff, it's such a selective process, and we work so closely together, and I get to understand them on such a deep and personal level. And there's only good things that can come out of having such like personalized, or like a financial cheerleader. Like, I really cheer them on and support them. So I've never actually had a bad review or an angry customer or anything. Knock on wood.
Anything you want an upcoming thing for you that you can share?
Well, Sprechen Sie Success, which is Niva's event, is happening. It's on Women's Day, on the 8th of March. And I'm doing an investing workshop at Sprechen Sie Success. And then, I'm launching also a investing toolkit for women.
What's that?
Investing, like an investing course, like a mini course for women. And I'm going to be launching that in March. And right now I'm just kind of like collecting feedback. I've got a small group of women already in there, and they're giving me feedback on how I can improve it. And so I'm going to be kind of sharing that as well, because I think not everybody can afford to have personalized investment advice or work with a coach. So I want to make all these kind of things accessible for people at different levels as well. Yeah.
Then if I put your Instagram in the description, is that enough? Or that's your main platform?
Yeah, Instagram or my website. Yeah.
I'll put them both just to be there.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think I learned a lot and enjoyed a lot this conversation.
Me too. I forgot we were recording for a bit.
Yeah. All right, cool. See you soon.
See you soon. Thank you.